Hey, what's up, guys? We're getting ready to head off to work, and we're going to talk about the worst customer service I've ever seen in my life.
This is enough now. Sense the shape of your brow, the salt on your cheeks, and the way that you're looking down.
And this is coming from people who generally want to rip you off. And the reason why I say they have the audacity to rip you off is my dad has a crossover, right? He has a Nissan Rogue, which is a all-wheel drive vehicle, right? There's nothing really special about that vehicle. It's just a basic crossover that is all-wheel drive. And he went to this shop. I'm not going to name drop him, but he went to the shop asking how much it would cost to get his brakes done, because my dad doesn't have the time to do brakes, and he's not a mechanic. And here's what pissed me off. My dad comes home, and he sees me, and he goes, "Oh man, my brakes are gonna cost $400. I was like, "That's it?" He goes, "Well, they're charging me $400. So I understand. Okay, they have a price. They have their service fees. They have their labor fees, and then they go, well, the calipers, the rotors, they're not gonna be able to. They're not gonna be able to fit on this car because the stock ones that come from Nissan are grinding, and they're making this weird grinding noise." And I was like, "Oh, okay, they might have a point." And then they go, "Well, because your vehicle's all-wheel drive, the stock OEM ones aren't gonna work." So my dad was like, What's that mean?" They're like, "Well, what it means is you're going to be charged $750 for new brakes." And my dad was like, "Wait, $700 for what?" He goes, "Well, there's something called all-wheel drive brakes, which in reality, there's no such thing as all-wheel drive brakes. There's nothing called all-wheel drive brakes, my guy. There's nothing." So the issue was they were trying to charge him for something called all-wheel drive brakes. This special vehicle needed brakes. I'm like, "Your car isn't modified." So for myself and my dad was like, "Well, I'll get the brakes done," because he needed them done anyway. And he gets them done, and then my brother has a lot of mechanic buddies, right? And a lot of his mechanic buddies were like, "How much did you pay for your new brakes?" And he goes, like $700. And they go, $700 for what? What kind of brakes did you get? Did you get aftermarket brakes? Did you get Brembo brakes on your car? He goes, "No, they were just OEM stock brakes." He goes, "You got ripped off." And the guy behind the counter goes, "We didn't rip anybody off. We're the best in town." And what happened was they were charging him $700 for some bullshit, saying he needed all-wheel drive brakes. In today's society, mechanics will rip you off just because they want to make that dollar. I'm like, where is the reasonable guy who's out there, the reasonable salesman who wants you as a customer, not a replacement shop, somebody who will fix your stuff and gain your trust? Like, "Hey, Jimmy is the mechanic that I go to because he gives me reasonable deals and he helps me out from hooking me up from getting my car fixed." Not some clown that's just there for the money, and that's all the guy was there for, is the money. And my dad is a loyal customer of this shop. He goes there, and now he goes, "I'm not going back to this guy. They're just ripping me off." I'm like, "Dude, you're trying to tell me 100 times what a regular would cost, you're going to charge me?" And they're like, "Well, there's something called all-wheel drive brakes," and there's no such thing as all-wheel drive brakes. There's nothing called all-wheel drive anything. It's just the fact that They wanted to rip off my dad because they know he's a loyal customer and he doesn't know much about cars. They wanted to screw his ass by saying, hey, we'll charge you this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, realistically, you shouldn't be charging people that outrageously amount of money for something that didn't cost even half of that. It was $400 that it would have been costing, but they wanted to add an extra $300 just because of like an all-wheel drive setup. And I'm like, there's no such thing as an all-wheel drive setup brake system. I asked my buddies who were mechanics. I asked my brother's buddies who work for the BMW shop in town, and they were like, there's no such thing as all-wheel drive. He's like, he's like, you just get the OEM brakes, you hook them up, and that's it. But these mechanics were like, oh no, dog, there's an OEM brake system for stock non-wheel, for like rear wheel driving. Like, yeah, but those are made for this car. And he goes, yeah, but they're not gonna work because they're not the all-wheel drive system. And they wanted to give him an all-wheel drive supposedly system. When my dad took his car back to Nissan, they legitimately said those were just the OEM stock brakes that were put on your car. And he goes, well, where'd you get it done? He goes, well, I got it done at this shop, and they charged me $700. And the mechanic at the actual Nissan shop was like, $700 for what? He's like, they said the rotors and the and everything that goes with the brakes would not work because they would put them on there and they're making like a grinding noise. He goes, the reasoning they were doing whatever they were doing, making that noise, he's like, you have a dumbass mechanic who doesn't know what they're doing, so they're just outrageously charging you something that we could have done for half the price. So I agree with mechanics ripping people off because they think they know what they're doing, and a lot of times these mechanics are retarded as fuck. And it just pisses me off that I see my dad get over 300 times what it normally costs ripped off me. But overall, guys, if it sounds too good to be true, or if it sounds like way too outrageously priced, like you know you're getting tore up and ripped off, then definitely either try to do it yourself if you possibly can, because YouTube has a lot of tutorials with a lot of certified mechanics. I do watch Scotty Kilmore's reviews, and he basically shows a lot of things about cars, and he's been doing cars out of his garage for like 40 years. He's a certified mechanic, but he does it out of his garage, and for a guy who's been doing it for 40, 50 years, I trust him, right? And he's an OEM kind of guy. He does everything OEM. He does Japanese cars mostly, and the guy knows what he's talking about. But overall, don't be a mechanic that is just scamming people out of money, my guy. Just be realistic and whatnot, because they don't know what they're doing. 3 to 4 times the amount it would actually cost. Because personally, when you go online, you can find like majority of the parts for like 80 bucks, maybe 60 pounds, and you're going to be able to get them and maybe do it yourself. But sometimes shops will allow you to get them for a reasonable price. Like, you buy the part and they'll put it in for you. It's just the fact that sometimes they won't warranty the part because you're buying it and it's not a part that they purchase. So sometimes I'm like, I'll buy it and go without the warranty because I know it's a good part, it's gonna last, it's gonna save me money. But that shop was just kind of rude. We're gonna charge you $700 because it's an all-wheel drive system, and the brakes that come from the OEM factory, they don't work on this car because they're rear wheel driving. Like, there's no such thing as rear wheel drive brakes or front wheel drive brakes, or there's brakes. And even the Nissan dealership was like, were they trying to put Brembo brakes on your car? And if you're going to put Brembo brakes on a stock car that doesn't come with them, they are a bigger set of brakes. They're high performance brakes, and that's why you need different calipers, different rotors, and all that kind of stuff to fit on the stock car. But with that being said, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know if you ever had a real bad experience with customer service